the secret underdog. Actually, I don't even think this thing's really that much of a secret, or the fact that I use MPCs is a secret, because on my Instagram I post about them nonstop, basically. Speaking of Instagram, I posted a video of me using the 1000 with my modular setup for a live show I recently had. And this setup's really fun, and I got a ton of comments and messages about this setup and how I kind of did it. So yeah, that's what this video is about. 1000 modular live set. Let's do it. All right, so this setup is honestly beyond simple. I got a really I know it looks crazy, but a pretty basic patch, a little more basic than what I'm actually going to be using to play. Like I don't have any of these going out, and I'm not using this right now because I like using the Chimera, which is super fun for like accenty, weird cymbally sounds. It kind of has a pretty wide range. So I've kind of omitted that for now because I want to show how I'm using the MPC 1000 with this as my bass line, and then this is doing some stem playback as well as all my drums. So essentially it's super basic, like I'm saying. If I go into, well, let me start with the MPC 1000 because this is kind of the main brain of the whole operation. What it does is it's basically unmatched by today's standards of what a sequencer and sampler should do. You have almost unlimited everything. And I know there's things like the Deluge and the Octatrack is really good for some of this stuff, but I kind of find that they do different things better than this. And when it comes to playing live, I am falling in love with this so hard. Main reason being, if I go to track mutes, I can actually see the names of the tracks I'm trying to mute. That alone is incredible help when playing live. Plus the screen's really big. And the other thing, if I go to sequences, I can see what sequence is currently playing where, which is really good. And again, they have names. I just named these track 1, 2, 3, and 4 because I made these 4 tracks just for the show I have on Saturday. And I need to add a couple more just to kind of fill some time. And I forgot to name that last one, but I'll name, actually, you know what, let's just name it right now. Here's another thing that's really simple to name. You can just go here. I want to call this track 4. So I'll say TRACK, and then numeric 4. Delete, 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 delete. Done. So yeah, track 4, super Nokia style. When you enter in things, you got all your letters here as well as your numeric stuff. It's just so simple. I don't know if this is just the way my brain works, but it makes 100% sense to me. So now I got my 4 tracks. I got my track mutes. If I go to track 1, I can press play start. So what we're listening to right now is all the drums from here. If I go and I mute all this stuff, you can still hear the stem because I have it set so that it mutes the MIDI note triggering the sample. It doesn't mute the track. Thank you. That is so important to me because it creates these really jarring cuts sometimes when you just mute the track, especially if there's like reverb and stuff. That's always helpful to mask it. But some, like the Octatrack, mutes the track. So even if you have reverb and delay, it cuts those out. You have to mute the amp level. So I normally get a MIDI controller and map it to the amp level of the Octatrack just to avoid this situation. But here, this is how it is basically by default. So starting from the beginning, we got our kick track. I got my clap, closed hat stuff, open hat stuff. These are kind of whatever. Riot, I'll probably save that for later. So essentially what I'm trying to do is build the track live. So when I switch to another like pattern, it's going to be pretty much a lot of the tracks are going to be muted, and the mute states stay per pattern. So watch this. And oh, I lost count, but basically let's pretend I was good at this. And boom, now the pad stem comes in. This stem is something I made in Ableton, or I think I took that one off of Splice, and it's like a little 4-bar thing, and I chopped it because it was like 32 bars. So then I have the bass line here, which is just MIDI notes. Let's see, that's on track 9. Bass line. Where's it going? No program. It's just going out to MIDI 1A. And if I go to, where's it at? You can't see it here. There it is. Those are the notes going to the modular over here. Right, so I go back to track mutes. Easy. super simple. So this is going to be doing a lot more like crazy modulation stuff, but again, I just wanted to set this up to simply show you that all I'm doing is sending MIDI out of the MPC 1000 into the modular, then the audio is going into the record inputs, and on the JJOS, I'm not sure if it's on the stock OS as well, but if you go into the mixer, you have your input here, so input, and you just turn it to on, and then your level for left and right. I just have it to left for now, but I should probably switch it to left and right because I was originally trying to do something else, but gave up on that entirely. All right, going back to the track. This is this. Cool, blah, blah, blah. We're playing, we're having fun. Everyone's having a great time, you know. You can also do some more kind of cool things. I'll show this on the next track. So let's say we're doing this, and then dun, 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 dun. Track 2 is a 8-bar loop for track 1. So what it's done there is the way you set up the MPC 1000, you use what's called programs, and each program you can think of as like a kit of sounds. And that information, it's similar to the banks on the Octatrack, but the program, that kit of sounds, is held in each sequence. So now that I've switched to sequence 2, aka track 2, my bass line is changed to track 3, which is wrong. There's nothing there. Ignore that. It's still on MIDI 1, and if I go to track 10, it's now playing program 2, which I named track 2, but think of it as sound kit 2. And what's in that program is just one sample, which is track 2 sample, right? But if I go to my drum tracks, which are 1 through 8, they play main drum program on all of them. So I'm using the same drum kit, or the same sound pack, I guess you can say, across 8 tracks. And the reason I do that is because then I can mute the tracks individually but still play the same sound. So I don't have to keep making like a drum kit for each pad or each track. I can just use one drum kit across my entire live set and only have to change the programs for what song I'm playing. And technically I could even put those stems in one program as well. It kind of saves a little bit of space, not too much, but I'm doing fine on this one. So here's the next track. It starts off with those muted, right? Pretty jamming. And then I can bring them all in. So this one, if I go to track 10 and I turn this one on, this is filter. Actually, let's go ahead. Need that. That's not right. That's actually a crash. So this is filter. And this one is pitch. This is the one that I post on my Instagram that originally sparked this whole video because everyone was just like, what the hell is going on? So you can use the faders and stuff. The thing that sucks with them is, watch this. If I go up here and I change track, it defaults back to the original parameters for that track. And now these are active on track 9, not 10, where that loop was. So that to me is kind of a pain. So, but half the time I'm just living in this track anyway. Yeah, buddy. This is what I'm gonna do for 30 minutes. People are gonna love it. And then yeah, I'm gonna just start doing some weird bass-liney stuff. And then again, you kind of just start breaking down your track, maybe pulling the filter down on this one. Pull the filter down here. And yeah, then you just start breaking it down. Start getting it ready for the next track. Yeah, pull the filter down. Damn, this beat is grooving. Boop, 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 boop. And then you go next sequence. So pretty abrupt, right? that pad stem comes in way late. That was wrong. So I got to fix that, which is a simple way to show how I'm doing this. So if we go to track 10, that stem, wait a minute. Now it comes in on the 1. Weird. I'm pretty sure it's, yeah, that one. So just to be safe, start from the beginning. Cool. And again, these are set to after. These are controlling different parameters of that same pad stem track. Again, new bass line. So what I'm going to end up doing with this is doing more start doing more like rhythmic modulation to a pattern that's predetermined. So that way there's still that natural, weird, I guess you can say organic, since modular is not really organic at all. That organic modular feel of like random things happening, but the rhythm and the pattern being consistent. It's just modulation that changes. I love stuff like that. Oh yeah. Damn, this MMF sounds so good. So then another thing eventually what I'm going to end up doing if I go to, let's see. So then the other thing I want to do with the modular is, for example, on track 4 is, yeah. Oh, right. I put a weird ARP. So we'll say track 9. There it is. So here I'm eventually going to have to switch it up live, right? From sequencing it with the modular stuff and just taking the pitch, plugging it into 4 of the mimetic, and then taking the gate, or either just the gate or the trig, and plugging it into here, which is the steppy. That way I can do modular sequencing and some weird stuff to this pretty repetitive rhythm. So this is going to add that instability there. And then after this, I want to kind of just go into more of just drums and modular stuff live and just kind of play out the rest of the set like that. Again, it's pretty simple. Yeah. Man, this is so fun. And do you hear that swing and that crunchy goodness? This is just direct out. I'm not going to take a compressor with me, which I normally do, or anything. I'm just going straight out of this. And you're just listening to the headphones. I'm sure it sounds probably a little better on the main house. But yeah, that's really the setup. I mean, the MPC 1000 gives me the ability to see my track names, name everything accordingly, see what sequence is going on, because with the Octatrack, it was a little difficult. I always had a notebook with me, which then meant I needed to take a flashlight with me so I can read said notebook and see what bank was what song with what pattern. And I tried multiple different ways. I tried song per bank. I tried 4 songs per bank with the parts and like all this craziness. And then I got this and I was like, oh, thank God. And yes, I know MPC Live exists. I like the 1000. The Live just has too much in it that it scares me. I get paralyzed by endless options. And that's something that the MPC Live kind of reminds me of and just kind of scares me off a bit. I'm sure it's incredible. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure you can get the sounds. I know you got the 60 engine, you got the SP1200 engines, you get the 3000 engines. Super cool, super awesome, swing, touchscreen. I'm down with all that. I get it. But I just, for my brain, I need really straightforward, simple, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can only do this, and you can do it really well. And that's another reason why I get a little scared of like the Deluge. People are just like, why would you do all that when you could just get a Deluge? But again, for little things like this, I kind of like having my dedicated machines. And yeah, I know this is doing multiple things at once, but being able to always have my filter here, always have my release here, always have my mutes right here, just ready to go without having to jump around. Maybe you can set up macros on there. I'm talking out my ass. I don't really know too much about the Deluge. It seemed awesome when I got to mess with it at KnobCon, but there's just these, I don't know, I have to give myself boundaries. I have an incredible studio downstairs, and I've made songs that I've been more proud of on just a single pocket operator than I have down there. And that speaks volumes to me, because the struggle, and that's where creativity lives, is in struggle, trying to achieve something with so little. I kind of thrive off of that, which is just, trying to work something into doing something that in a sense it almost wasn't supposed to, or it doesn't do it. I don't know. It's just, I find that so much more fun and intuitive and creative. So I know those things exist, they all in one boxes, they're awesome and whatnot, but my brain can't handle it. I don't think I'm smart enough for some of that stuff. I just need this stripped down, gritty, dirty, simple, let's go, let's do it. And I mean, technically I can even work the whole thing on with just the MPC 1000. But anyway, I'm rambling at this point. I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for checking this out. If you want to see more MPC 1000 videos, let me know. I might not do them. It's kind of my secret weapon. I love using this thing, and I don't talk much about any of my MPCs that I have for that reason, but I appreciate you a lot. And if you want to support the channel, check out this website, grab some merch or something like that. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Share the love, share the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Peace.